So, hello and welcome. I am just beyond blessed today to have with me Smriti. Welcome. How'd I do with your name?
Hey, Erica. You can call me Smee. It's Smriti, but you can call me Smee, and that's okay. That's what all
Okay.
my friends call me. And you are a friend.
Well, we're
And
just,
I'm so grateful for you.
oh, thank you. It's really fun to uh, help connect authors with their messages and then publish them into the world. So I'm definitely blessed to have chosen that role. And
And how did we get so lucky to know you and have you as part of my life? I'm blessed too.
so I loved your chapter. What we're going to hear about today on this segment is so exciting. We are going to learn about healing from cancer. And I don't think you've probably, ever heard of what exactly showed up uh, for this specific author. So just go ahead and just kind of start telling us a little bit about some of the shifts and some of your observations. It's just amazing to me, the journey you've taken, and then we'll just kind of pepper back and forth as I have
Okay.
questions, and just kind of share some of your key life.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, actually, I'd already lost my mom to cancer, and that had put me through a whole load of trauma and grief. And about 8 years later, when I was told that I have breast cancer, I was absolutely shocked. You know, it's something that you never expect it will happen to you.
Mm.
And that moment when I was told that this is what is going on in your body, and May I am going to deal with afraid of it and get treated. And then stage was, it was not about just healing my body. I had to look at what was it that created it in the first place. How
Mm.
did I manage to create it in the first place? What was I doing? Because I know now that we create everything. We are fabulous creators. So how had I, so what was it that made me create this? And as I looked at it, I realized that there was so much bitterness in my heart. I thought I had overcome it, but when I looked at this, I said, this is beyond just healing my body. I have to heal my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how I went with the next step. Okay, so what is it that I'm angry about? What is it that I'm hurt about? What is it that I'm bitter about? What is it that I'm holding on, which is creating this disharmony in my body? So for me, it was not just a physical disease. It was all about looking at my life very honestly and being honest to my own self, being completely vulnerable about what was I ashamed of, what was I bitter of, and I had to face it. And that's what I started doing.
I want to pause you real quick here because I I want to encourage the listeners to take a moment in your life, because if you could kind of just embrace some of the key learnings that are showing up on this session. Like, what if you didn't have to have cancer? Like, what if you could look at, where am I bitter?
Yeah.
What could I release? What things
Yes.
of my past? I mean, my life is just a poster child for abuse. Also, when I was young, going up into my marriage that ended, thankfully, and I look at the abuse and the kinds of stuff that I carried around in the body, and I think, how blessed that I didn't have to get cancer. So I just
Yeah.
want people who are listening, not just those who are working on healing from cancer, who might just love what she's teaching, but also those who just haven't gotten a disease, but could just take a moment to do some of the releasing, and
Yes.
kind of overall picture, releasing judgment, but releasing some of that bitterness that really it feels like when you were talking about it, like it stores itself in cells. Like it felt very tangible.
Totally.
So interesting.
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
all like locked up in your body, and this is your body crying out. You have not been paying attention. I gave you signals with colds and backaches and neck pain, and you've not been listening, and now I'm knocking harder. Can you please wake up? And
Mm.
that's my journey now. I share this with everyone who is willing to listen, that don't wait for a wake up call like this. Look at your life now. Look at everything that's going on with you now and let go of that baggage. It's not going to create anything wonderful for you. It's only going to create some crap. But of course, if you love it, you can have it. But I wouldn't. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, this is more about healing myself and all my hurts and pains. And I know that hurt and pain is what? It's having a judgment about something being wrong, bad, horrible, mean, whatever that is. And if I can be in allowance of whatever is, and if I can let go of those judgments, and when I started doing that, that's when I started breaking down the walls of judgments I had put around me, that I could change everything. And I felt so unsupported, unloved. But the moment I put my barriers down, put my judgments away, just let them dissolve with whatever processes, tools I use, which I've shared in the book, life changed for me. I am loved and how, supported and how, happy and how. It's
Wow.
amazing. So it
Yeah.
was not so much about healing cancer, it was about healing me, healing my life that it was all these years.
That is
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I'm so grateful that I could awaken to this, that I have to heal from within. This is not about just the body thing.
so I'm just eager, since we have just such a little amount of time together today. I want to jump into a tool. So give me a tool. I don't care which one. Which one would you like? Something that
Type of interesting point of view. Doesn't matter who tells you how bad you are or how you're not good enough. It's just their point of view. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to make it your own and store it and build your entire life story around that one judgment or those 10 judgments that you bought into. It's just an interesting point of view. And they are right, but only from their point of view.
Oh my gosh, I love it. One of the ways I see this manifest
Okay.
is when I
Yeah.
have a new project that I'm building that is
Yeah.
going to be wild, and I can feel the kundalini of it. Like it comes into my body, like, and it just like gets so tingly because I'm going to be doing something fresh. And then the judgments come.
Sure.
Boom,
They
boom,
always do.
boom, and they're like, that you could never be that. That's crazy. You don't look like the poster child for that. You're not pretty enough.
Yeah.
You're not smart enough. You're not rich
Yeah.
enough. Whatever. Like all those things come, and I can like feel them. So tell us a little more about interesting point of view, like how you might use that with your body and healing, and kind of how it's just shifted. Because I
Okay.
love it, and I could see as soon as you said that,
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
I got that picture immediately.
So I looked at every event in my life where I was told I'm not good enough or I'm dumb or I was abused or whatever it was. And I said, okay, interesting point of view that they had that point of view. An interesting point of view that I bought that point of view. An interesting point of view that I had these judgments about me, which have like created this, nutcase scenario for myself. So interesting point of view that I have this point of view, or interesting point of view that they had this point of view. And
Mm.
so now I can't hate you anymore for the points of views that you piled upon me, because it was just your point of view. I get that now. So I really don't hold any grudges against what you said, what you did, because now I get that that was just your point of view. You didn't
Wow.
have any other point of view to operate from.
Wow. And I just got a click because I know in your story you talk about your life as a young girl.
Yes.
And I remember taking a girl with us to go get cupcakes. I brought two girls with me, my daughter and her friend. And the
Hmm.
other girl had so many interesting points of view. And I was
Hmm.
listening to her, and it's hard to explain, but it was like nothing was good enough for her. Like,
Yeah.
this wasn't good enough, that wasn't good enough, that wasn't big enough, this wasn't. And I listened to her points of view come out of her mouth, and she was 9.
Yeah.
And it's so easy with a 9-year-old who's not your child
Yeah.
to listen
Yeah.
to the point of view
Yeah.
as
And it's
an
amazing.
interesting point of view, you know. But then when it's
Yeah.
like, say, your parent, you know, or your child saying it, then it seems like that gets a little bit tangly. What can we do about
It,
that?
okay, so it does. And in that moment, you may not really see it as interesting point of view. But if you just keep looking at it as interesting point of view, okay, interesting point of view, okay, interesting point of view, I'm not getting it, okay, interesting point of view, I think somewhere it shifts. But you've just got to stay with it for that little while till you have that breakthrough. You can't just give up after saying it once.
I love
Sometimes you just need to say it for sometimes like a day at an end. And if that's, yeah, I think you've got to just stay with it for a bit. And I know that it shifts. You come to that place where you can see how their point of view was different from your point of view. And there was nothing wrong with their point of view or yours for that matter.
Ooh, that's juicy. And I want to take it from here. We have a few minutes left. Tell us what
Okay.
you're doing, what you're up to, what you could invite people to playing with you. Tell us a little bit about kind of your months to come and your activities. I know you are an access consciousnness
Facilitator.
and
Yes,
so
I
tell us
am.
a little bit about what you have cooking.
So I facilitate access consciousness classes. My favorite one being the bars. So I conduct those. I facilitate 1-day workshops of bars. I facilitate foundation classes. My favorite one is Right Body for You tasters that I facilitate, wherein I empower people to get into communion with their body, to fall in love with their body. And my pet project is I do these meditations where I lead people to see the greatness of them. Doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, you are awesome. And I want you to know how awesome you are. And that's really my journey. So every workshop is about connecting you to the greatness of you, whatever the workshop may be. So I facilitate these journeys into for an hour and Right Body for You. And I also facilitate Talk to the Entities. I love access tools. I'm so grateful to Gary Douglas for having brought them to us. And I find them very empowering, and I share them with whoever wants to be empowered.
So where can I find you, and where are you actually talking to me from in the planet?
I live in Mumbai, in India. So I haven't gotten around to, I've just been so busy facilitating clients and workshops that I haven't yet gotten around to putting up my website, but I can be reached on smriti.shivdasani@gmail.com. So that's smriti.shivdasani@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It went by in a blink. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Mwah! Love you.